Welcome to another episode of Explicitly Unbiased. Today, we're going to be going over Bill Belichick's first game as North Carolina's head coach and discuss some notable Week 2 matchups, including teams that lost in Week 1. Caleb, hit that intro.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Explicitly Unbiased. Gerardo with his very warm, always welcoming introduction to what's going down. I'm Caleb McChesney, joining the front hat club today.
The fitted club, the fitted hat club.
Yeah, the fitted hat club, and then I pushed it forward in case because I heard Colin Coward was saying some not nice things about this show because I always had a backwards hat, and Colin Coward's my guy, so just trying to fix it. Look,
well, he's just jealous, Caleb, because he's not a hat guy.
No, right? Like he has too good hair to really wear hats.
Exactly. Putting a hat on his beautiful head of hair would reduce the level of knowledge he's able to give to us.
It would be a disgrace, honestly.
Exactly.
The heads of hair everywhere.
Speaking of disgrace,
yes. Former disgraced NFL head coach Bill Belichick made his debut as the University of North Carolina's head coach against TCU on Monday night. Everybody came out. Michael Jordan, Lawrence Taylor, Randy Moss.
Mia Hamm, like even notable like other sports stars. And
everybody came out for Belichick's debut. And
Eric Kurtz, I mean, like
it went horribly. Horribly. We'll go over that. We'll go over some of the featured matchups that we put together and said, hey, these are the games you probably want to watch this weekend in college football, and we'll go from there. So let's just start with Bill Belichick, Chapel Hill, 48-14, the final. Hot start, came apart quick.
Dude, there was more celebrities than touchdowns for UNC out there. Like, God, like we were watching that game, like essentially live together, and we were like texting back and forth. And like, let me tell you this, the highs that UNC faced, like Petey Pablo, big old North Carolina guy going out there, North Carolina, raise up. Like, dude, they had a new stadium. They had a new light show over there, like new and improved for that stadium there. 55,000 strong in there. Michael Jordan is there. Like, that's a huge thing. And that first drive, bro, like me and you text, I was like, bro, if this is the first drive, like Bill Belichick may be cooking here. And all of a sudden,
Tom Brady, who?
The rest of the game unfolded, and he went from cooking to getting cooked. And
very quickly.
Yes. And God almighty. But the thing is, I like to call these games an avalanche game, meaning everything wrong that could go wrong for you went wrong, and everything right that could go right for the other team did. And is it truly indicative of what may become to UNC? I do not know. That could be a little bit of an overreaction, but at the same time, me and Caleb discussed earlier was you brought in Bill Belichick to essentially win the ACC eventually. And that's not happening this year, and it's going to be a very rough first year. Granted, they have literally the easiest schedule. I've mentioned that day in and day out. But the lack of, I don't know how to say that. They were very late on the transfer portal process because Bill Belichick was late to becoming a head coach for them. And especially in college football, that's a big hindrance to these guys, especially the amount of turnover rate. Like, only 2 starters on their defense were returning from last year, meaning there's like everybody else is like literally fresh off the block in the transfer portal. And when you're talking about 9 out of your 11 players on defense that are starting are all transfers, like, and it's not like they were notable guys. Like, I have heard this statement before in the college football circles. There's a reason why that guy's on the transfer portal, and that's because he couldn't make it on his. Like, if he comes from an Alabama, like there's a reason why he was third string at Alabama. Like, it wasn't like he's not just a starter in a high level college football team. He's like just in general, maybe not a Power 5 starting guard or D tackle, DN, linebacker, whatever position that you may. There's a reason why he was in the transfer portal. Because there is rarely, like you would say, like about 10%, 5% of the transfers that are in the transfer portal or because they're trying to improve a situation, like they're legitimately like they'll be a starter anywhere. Like, for instance, if Caleb Downs was on the transfer portal, he's starting 99, if not 100% everywhere he goes. Most oftentimes than not, the transfer portal is filled with guys that there's a reason why they couldn't get any starting love at their situation. And you just saw the inexperience in general. Like the college football game is a different beast. Bill Belichick and also Sonny Dykes. I mean, mind you, this is a guy who went to the national championship. Like, granted, was it the worst national championship of all time? Yeah. But at the same time, Sonny Dykes led a very good TCU team go against a Hall of Fame Georgia team at that time. But he has legitimate experience. And also, Sonny Dykes is a little bit on a bounce back tour. He was a notable bum at Cal. Like, in him going to TCU, he's kind of like, who does Bill Belichick think he is, thinking of coming into college football and thinking he's just going to run circles around me? Bro, I've been to the national championship. You haven't even coached a single game. And it really backfired big time, I would say.
Yeah. So like I said, first drive was immaculate.
Oh, dude, you couldn't have picked a better, like,
They had
drive.
one play of minus yardage. They had a -3 run, Gio Lopez, which I assume is technically a sack. But 9-yard run, 3-yard run, 8-yard run, 39-yard pass, 19-yard pass, and an
Super
8-yard
balanced
touchdown
offense.
pass, or 8-yard touchdown run for Caleb Hood, the running back. Then they forced a punt, a 3-and-out. Then they punted, and it was over.
Yep. It's like they put all their chips, and it's like, we're going to look so good this first drive. And after that, that's about it. We got it. Like their first first drive offensively and their first drive defensively was amazing. Amazing. You could have not coached that any better. It was perfectly balanced. It wasn't fluky in any way. It wasn't busted coverage. It was just
incredibly scripted.
Oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, all right, that's it. I came and did my piece. I'm good. And it was just so terrible. It was so ugly to watch. It was just the two big things that you take away from this are, one, it's the first left-handed quarterback that Bill Belichick has ever had. Like that narrative. And then the fact that the backup's also a lefty too. That was actually funny.
There was another interesting thing first for Belichick. Do you want to hear it?
Go ahead.
First time a Bill Belichick coach team gave up 48 points.
Yes, because what the last one was 47, right? 47 to the Bills.
That sounds right.
I believe it said 2021.
There was a lot of games lately where the Bills just put belt ass on us.
But not only that, but the other one, both his quarterbacks were left-handed. I mean, both of them looked terrible. And that's also Brad Johnson, former NFL quarterback's son.
Max Johnson was okay, 9 for 11, touchdown. Who knows if that was garbage time or if he was actually putting a little something together. But he looked head over heels better than Gio Lopez.
Yeah, Gio Lopez like straight up stunk after that. Like I was like, bro, this is not a starting caliber Power 5
He didn't
school.
complete a pass for an hour.
Yeah. He looked really good that first drive. Like, and it's so funny because like you look back at that first drive, you feel like that's two different teams. And like what happened? But like Gio was just so horrible, bro. Like I was like, this is not an FBS. This is not a Power 5 school. Hell, this is not even like a starting quarterback at like UTSA. Like this is,
which is crazy because he just had a pretty good season at South Alabama last year.
And mind you, what school did you just name? South Alabama. All right. When you go to a directional school, that's kind of when I understand that you're not really that talented. Like you don't know much college teams that are directionally that are that good like that.
West Virginia.
I mean, they're not that good anymore. Ever since Geno's gone, ever since Pat White. South Carolina, University of Southern California, sure. But I would always say, like, there's a reason why Eastern, Western Michigan, Northern Iowa, or Northern Illinois, like, there's a reason why, like, I always say directional. If you come from a directional school, you're probably not that good. And,
what about Middle Tennessee?
Thank you. That's no direction. That's even worse. Like that you have the word mid in your name.
No, they
So
wish they were mid.
yeah. Oh, amen. But yeah, no, to ultimately to wrap all this up, like we kind of predicted this. He's supposed to beat Charlotte. I mean, we have the line. We're going to talk about that bounce back game, but like the fact that they're not even a 2 touchdown favorite against Charlotte is insane.
I do want to say something about this before we really really close it up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Bill Belichick might have overestimated his ability to adapt to the college game, and I'm immediately seeing something that he's going to have to overcome. In the NFL, after a game like this, Belichick would cut 7 guys, go to the waiver wire, pick up a couple guys for the next couple of months, and kind of reset his roster that way. You can't really do that in college football. Your roster is your roster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know how he's going to make something out of nothing with this roster that a seemingly is nothing. Maybe we just need to give TCU a little more credit, and then next week at UNC Charlotte they beat the brakes off the 49ers down there. But I don't really see that happening. Um, it's just
Um,
I think
yeah.
we immediately see something with this Belichick experiment that we didn't foresee coming. Like he needs to if this was an NFL game, if he was still coaching the Patriots, we'd be looking at this like, okay, he's cut, he's cut, he's cut. Let's look at this
Mm-hmm.
practice squad. Let's look at the free agency market. Let's see who he brings in, who he identifies. You can't do that. You have to identify things within your own roster. And I didn't see
Mm-hmm.
anybody on that field last night or Monday night that looked like they were capable players.
The only big spotlight, both me and you talked about this pre-show, the left tackle, the true freshman left tackle who looks like he looks like he belongs. And also, I feel like that's a little bit also high praise coming from Bill Belichick. He already kind of doesn't like rookies that much. And having a true freshman be his first game, like under Bill Belichick, I think that says a lot. That or that's how bad they are at left tackle as well, too. But most notably, I think here's a good gauge. You brought in Bill Belichick to be a contender in the ACC. That means on coaching stature, that is a potential national championship level coach. So, in the realm of coaching right now in the college football era, there, because we have expanded the playoffs obviously to 12, right? That means you need 12 coaches or a relatively 12 to, let's say, 18, almost 20 coaches that would be playoff eligible coaches. So you have Ryan Day. You would have even Lincoln Riley because what he did at Oklahoma, not what he's done at USC, but he has had success. Kirby Smart, Kalen DeBoer, even though he's sucking it up at Alabama, which we'll touch on later. Like Steve Sarkisian as well too. Lane Kiffin, even who's like he's an above average to almost championship level coach. I would say like on that middle, like a B plus guy. Sonny Dykes is very much a like he was brought in to be better than Sonny Dykes' coaching career. Sonny Dykes, like I mentioned, has been to the national championship. So he has already that pedigree of coaching underneath him. And you got significantly outcoached by him, bro. Wait till Dabo Sweeney, if they play Clemson this year, which they do,
I
yeah,
believe they do.
Clemson is going to run absolute circles if he doesn't vastly improve. And within this roster and understand.
Saturday, October 4th, they host
Mhm.
Clemson.
And that's what I mean. Like
That's
it's
their first, like, once they get out of the dregs, like UNC Charlotte next week. They got
mhm.
Richmond the week after. UCF, which is a respectable program, um, but not quite what you would think would be like, do you think, like, let's just say that this game wasn't a disaster. Let's say they won in a 24-20 matchup like everybody kind of expected.
Mhm.
Does UCF really scream like, "Oh, well, they'll hang"?
No, they should. If Bill Belichick won this game, as like by 3 points, like that's a great introduction because it's like okay, and mind you, like I said, TCU is a good barometer because Sonny Dykes has went to the national championship. It isn't like you're going to a TCU team that didn't like. they got a new head coach or they're having a new overhaul over there and stuff like that. Like, I think it was a good barometer because Sonny Dykes is very much an above average head coach in college football. You would probably give him like a B to a B plus level coach, right? And if you were brought in to be better than him career wise at UNNC and you got handedly out coached, mind you, which are words that Bill Belichick said himself in the press conference that he got out coached. Bro, Sonny Dykes is not like, if you're getting outcoached by Sonny Dykes, that's a huge issue. You know what I mean? Like, that's saying you got outcoached. No, because I'm not gonna say Adam Gase because that's very disrespectful to Sonny Dykes. That's like saying like
Mike Zimmer.
I would even say like Brent Bilma when he was at Wisconsin would outcoach you and stuff like that, or the dude who used to be at Arkansas with the neck brace, and he went to the Falcons. You know exactly what guy I'm talking about, but like you're getting outcoached by guys who are like 9-win coaches that aren't predominantly like good, elite, and you're getting
Ride off their talent more than they ride off their coaching ability.
yeah, like you're out here just getting that you're getting
Waxed.
yes, and it wasn't Caleb. It wasn't like they lost the defense, like they were hanging offensively. They sucked in all three departments. If you want to count coaching, all four. Like the only positive you got out of North Carolina is Michael Jordan went to a game.
And he's not going back.
Michael Jordan crying emoji meme. Like that, the meme was probably posted everywhere. And like it was, this is such a significantly bad team. Like even offensively, like I was like, bro, what is this? Like,
listen, I can deal with a Belichick team having a bad offense because he didn't look for an offensive coordinator. He hired Freddie Kitchens. He kept him around. Defensively, him and his son have proven that they know defense. The fact that they got waxed on defense as bad as they did, it's not like the QB was just, it's not like they were just having like elite field position every night. It's like, oh, well, what are you going to do? Their defense blew.
Bad.
It was bad.
And it wasn't like, and like you said, there's no All-Americans on that TCU offense. Now, in retrospect, like let's just say all of a sudden TCU runs the table and they go undefeated and their quarterback wins the Heisman this year. That's the only saving grace right now for Bill Belichick. Is that
he's TCU's biggest fan right now?
And essentially that's how it is in college football. The team you lose to, you have to be their biggest fan because the moment they lose, your loss is twice as worse. Like
it's one of the more interesting aspects of college football for me.
Yeah, because in the NFL, right? Like if you can lose any given Sunday, any team can win any given Sunday.
A win's a loss. Yeah,
exactly. Where here, if TCU doesn't have a winning record at the end of this year, him getting beat that bad goes. UNNC's thinking about, bro, we'll just pay you out the rest of the 9 years.
I was about to say,
like we are.
Do you think UNC is looking at that buyout clause right now?
100%. Are you kidding me? It's the thing is, people may say, "Oh, you're overreacting, y'all." And my defense to that is,
we've gotten that a lot lately.
You spent it's a 10-year contract. That is a commitment and a half, right? Contract. Listen, there's a reason why Jimbo Fisher is one of the top paid coaches right now. He doesn't got and he's not a coach anymore because A&M literally they would rather pay him to not coach than coach. And seeing this, it's where are your highlights in this game? Where? Nowhere. There is nothing that, Caleb, you can tell me as a North Carolina fan that you're going to be like, okay, I saw something from Gio, like, there's stuff that we can improve upon. Okay, this receiver's good. Oh, our run game will eventually get better. Or our defense is going to tighten.
You had a really good one-time punch on the first drive.
You had a really good knockout punch in the first round, but then the dude got up and uppercutted you every single round after that, and you didn't even bother to defend. And like you mentioned, it is not like TCU is world beaters this year. They are not even playoff contenders this year. And to beat you in every facet of a football game and goes to show you that, like, unless North Carolina's talent is that bad, like, is like this should be barely a high school team. Like, I'm highly convinced that this is very much like the Bill Belichick coming in late as a coach, Bill Belichick not understanding the landscape and the culture that comes with
Just the an antithesis. Oh, I don't know how the word is.
antithesis.
Antithesis. This is the antithesis. I'm trying to get it right for the clip. This is the
This is the antithesis.
of everything Bill Belichick is.
Yes,
This is the antithesis of everything Bill Belichick is.
100%.
Prepared, smart, cautious, meticulous,
Detail
scheming,
oriented.
formulating. It all went to crap.
Yeah. And
I
the
hope
thing
that
is,
made for an okay clip because that was a struggle.
but the thing also too is when on the Pat McAfee show today, they brought in Bruce Arians today.
I saw that.
Bruce Arians had a wonderful quote. Players win you games, coaches lose games.
Bill
And this
Belichick said that 100 times.
Yep. Um and especially in college football, more oftentimes than not, your wins are coming because you're out Jimmy and Johnning a lot of people. You're not out Xing and Oing people. There's a reason why, like, when you sometimes, and I compare this also, like how vastly different the college football video game is compared to Madden. So in college football, like if you pick South Alabama and your opponent picks Oregon, like on an online ranked matchup, guess what's going to happen to
You're
you?
getting screwed.
You're going to lose because they have better rating players. In Madden, you can be, let's just say, the Saints, and you're going against the Eagles. You can actually still win with the Saints. It's a skill challenge, essentially. Like, it's about beating up, like, you can find matchups just like any given Sunday. And I think it's so funny that the video games very much reflect what it is in real life. If you do not have good recruits, if you do not have good transfers, it doesn't matter how good your fucking scheme is, because at the end of the day, they have to throw the ball. They have to run the ball. They have to hold on to the ball. They have to pass it. They got to kick it. They got to cover all that stuff. And if your Jimmys and Joes don't know no X's and O's, it don't matter. And so that's my biggest thing. I think this is, man, like,
A sign of things to come.
dude, if he gets to 8 wins this year, they're still contemplating firing him.
I don't see the path to 8 wins.
I mean, and we went over it last conversation.
Let's go over it really quickly.
Yep.
Before we go into our featured matchups, kind of get into the rest of the college football landscape. So last time we had him at like 8 wins.
Mm-hmm.
TCU is already an L.
Yep.
UNC Charlotte.
That should be a win. But even though they're only a 12.5 point favorite,
Richmond.
they should win.
UCF.
I'm like 75%
I'm looking at that differently.
UCF.
I'm looking at that differently.
Yes.
L. Clemson.
Loss. Big loss.
Cal. Loss.
Loss.
Virginia. Loss.
50-50.
I'm giving them a loss. They couldn't keep up with TCU. They're not going to keep up with Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse. L.
Yeah.
Stanford. L.
I mean, Stanford's not a good team this year, I don't think.
Is UNC a good team?
No, I mean, that's exactly what we're on about, right?
Wake Forest. I'll give them that.
Okay, yes, it's Wake Forest.
Duke.
Now, I think it's a rivalry game, and they're not winning that.
NC State.
No, they're not winning any of their rivalry games. Yeah, they just went from a 8-win team to a 3-win team. And like I said, people, the big reason why it's such a drastic change is the way they lost.
No, if there was a competitive loss, we'd be like, okay.
Because the thing is, we have, in kind of like behind a lot of our points, we have no proof that Bill Belichick can coach in college football. We don't. And also, the only lasting proof that we have of him coaching is in the NFL, and that wasn't good.
Not the end.
Exactly. So
it's certainly not the things before Tom Brady.
So it's hard for me. It's hard for me to have a conversation with somebody when they're going to be a positive note on Bill Belichick, unless somehow he wins the opposite end. He wins by like 56-0 against Charlotte, and it's like, okay, but that's also just Charlotte. Like the only
Richmond, and then they have UCF.
That's
the next test. What do you learn over the next 2 weeks?
Dude, the fact that you're telling me that Bill Belichick going against UCF is a make or break decision game for him in his career is insane.
I can't wait to revisit it.
Yeah, when he loses 56-10.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna
Yeah.
be bad. Well, that's your Bill Belichick minute. Let's get into some of the featured matchups of this week. Obviously, it was an eventful week one. A lot of stories. We went over a lot of them earlier this week. If you haven't, go check them out. But let's go. Let's get right into the matchups that we think are worth talking about. As I just realized, I closed the script. Very
No, it's
good.
fine. So pretty much what it is, week 2, we're kind of suffering from a little bit of a hangover from week 1. We had a lot of good matchups. Now, granted, these matchups didn't perform well. I would say a lot of the big games outside of Miami Notre Dame was interesting. I give them that. LSU and Clemson kind of was a little bit competitive at the end. But the most notable things that we're going to talk about is teams that lost in week 1 that we need that are bounce back games. First one we kind of already discussed, UNC North Carolina against Charlotte. They're not even a 2 touchdown favorite. Like that's how bad that loss is. There's not even the sports gambling books are willing to take 2 touchdowns against Charlotte. I think it is a very important game for you, and also the thing is, I'm gonna need Bill to win by 21 points
At
to
least.
for me to talk about him in a positive note next week.
And even then, it's like oh, cool, he beat Charlotte.
Now, my favorite is the other teams that we have listed on here. Like this is, mind you, this is the difference, guys. So North Carolina is not even a 2 touchdown favorite. They're barely almost a two score favorite. Bama, Clemson, and Texas on their bounce backs, they're all a 33 or more point favorite. Like the books project that these guys are going to score more than 5 touchdowns better than their opponents. And I fully believe that they should. Obviously Alabama losing to Florida State, like the way that they did, they got run all over. I think Bama's biggest bounce back victory has to be defensively. I think offensively, they looked solid-ish. Solid is enough. I mean, they had a really good wide receiver, Ty Simpson, in a, progressing within this offense. And eventually Williams is going to see the ball too. They're way too talented offensively for me to have a concern about. I just think eventually, because if your defense is always getting tired and your offense is constantly going up there, it's doomed to fail eventually, especially the way that Florida State controlled the game. Because when you're running the ball, that means the clock is on your side. And that means offenses, when they're sitting on the sideline, they get too jittery. And they're like, I can't wait. And then now you're misrunning routes, and then you're being very overly cautious. You're overthinking. My biggest thing for Alabama that game is going to be defensively. I need them to look good defensively. I need them to dang near shut out Louisiana Monroe, to make sure that they have maybe less than 100 yards total rushing this game. Clemson over. I think Cade Klubnik is the big one on that one. I think offensively with him, I need him to look. But also, looking back on that tape, I really loved LSU's defense, the fact that they tightened up at the end of the game. You kind of thought that this was going to be very much an ending where Clemson was just going to go down the field and score. LSU's defense was going to eventually get tired. But the main takeaway that I had from this, Clemson's offensive line is not good. They were getting highly pressurized throughout the whole game. And Cade Klubnik was rushing a lot of his passes. So not really that much on him. It was just that he was always out of the pocket, and he was always out of a very uncomfortable situation of passing the ball to his very talented offense. So I need the offensive line for Clemson to show up with Troy. And lastly, the guy outside of JJ that we talk about the most, Arch Manning. I'm going to need you to throw for 5 touchdowns this game. Like point blank simple. The biggest thing against San Jose State, I'm going to need you to throw for close to 500 yards and 5 touchdowns.
5 is the magic number for Arch Manning.
Seriously, because put it this way, if Texas wins 48-7, but all they did was run the ball, I am still very concerned.
Problem.
I'm still very concerned. The big takeaway from Texas right now, I need Arch Manning to look like the number 1 overall pick, the number 1 overall quarterback. and all that other stuff. As of right now, I do not even want them to run the ball. I don't even want them to have a running back on the field, Caleb. I want them to go air raid this whole game. I need to see something from Arch offensively. That is my biggest concern on that bounce back game.
Yeah. Those are a lot. Those are all your featured bounce back games. Let's talk about the games that uh that are featured matchup stuff that we think is going to be pretty interesting. So without further
Really all
ado,
close games though, based on the book.
yeah, all very close. The most you have is a 6.5. Um,
Mhm.
let's start at the top. Number 15, Michigan at number 18, Oklahoma. The only matchup of ranked teams.
Mhm.
Oklahoma is a 4.5 point favorite at home. What do you think about this?
Um, my Heisman, one of my Heisman favorites, John Mateer or Mater, or however you pronounce his name. I absolutely love him. I think this is a potential Heisman moment for him going against a true freshman quarterback as well too. This would be a good showing for the true freshman quarterback as well for Michigan. He was over 250 yards of total, over 250 yards of total offense. He looked amazing and electric out there. But I think this is going to be how consistent is this Oklahoma offense. Last year they had the big inconsistencies. They were sound defensively. They had the offensive weapons. They just didn't have a quarterback like that. And I think if John goes out there and throws for like another 3 to 4 touchdowns, like he is slowly solidifying himself as probably the Heisman favorite. This would be a notable win. One, you're going against a team that's ranked not only above you on that, but a notable top 20 matchup. And I think it's going to be good. It's an out of conference game as well too, so that's always big pluses on that. So my biggest takeaway from this is can John maintain this level of offense that he's already shown in week 1? If he does 3 touchdowns, whether it's total passing or more, I would be highly considering him the betting favorite probably going into week 3 as the Heisman favorite.
Yeah, but don't overlook that Michigan defense and that Michigan team
Mhm.
that put up a fight down there in Oklahoma.
Yes, and that's and exactly, like, they are gonna make it very competitive for them.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to like. There's a reason this is a 4.5 point
Mhm,
game. Like Michigan's going to punch them in the mouth. Is they're going to keep it slow. They're going to keep it grindy, and
mhm,
it's going to take a lot for Oklahoma to really kind of break the seal.
yep.
Um, but I think I would expect Oklahoma to win this. Are you kind of in the same boat?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma winning probably by, like, 2 field goals. Probably they'll probably beat the what's it, the spread on that. They're 4.5, Imma have them win by 6. I think it's gonna be a little bit more tightly knit game. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, like, a 23-20 game or, like, 23 to, like, something around that realm,
30.
23 to 17, something like that.
All right. Borderline top 10 team. A lot of people are pretty high on Illinois.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of people think that they could be a top 10 team by the end of the year, be a 10-win team, compete for the Big Ten championship. They're going to Duke, and they're a 3 point favorite. What do you make about this one?
Biggest telltale sign that you should see about this is that Illinois is a top 10, almost a top 10 team in this country, right? They are only favored by 3 points against Duke, while UNNC is only favored by, and UNNC is going to see that Duke team. And the number 11 team in the country is only favored by 3. And so what that says about me, I think, like with this team, it's a very good Illinois team. A lot of people are not really familiar with this team because like it's very rare that Illinois is ranked this high, right? They are the notable team in Chicago, it seems like over there. Um, I think it's just gonna be a very tough matchup for them, especially like 3 points. Like, dude, that's just a field goal. Like, and also it's away from home, which is a good tester. But I think down the line, your biggest takeaway from that is how good is actually Duke. This like, are they? They did lose Malik Murphy in the transfer portal. He ended up going to Oregon State, and I just think we're slowly getting familiarized with this Illinois team. I'm a little bit on the sense that I think 11 is a bit too high for what that team's going to be. I do not think that that's a playoff team because as of right now, that is like what the second to worst playoff team in based on rankings.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of preseason rankings before week 7 or even week 10 because I feel like that's sometimes a little bit of outlier. I think we may look back and be like Illinois was ranked the 11th best team. That's pretty crazy.
So you're
But
not
yeah,
a buyer in Illinois long term.
no, it's hard. It's hard for me to be a buyer with any college football team early on, especially because, like I said, you're either watching games where they're supposed to be blowing out teams, or you're watching them lose to teams, and I'm like, I have no idea if this team's good or not. Like, I have no earthly idea if Texas is that good. I have no earthly idea if Ohio State's that good.
So this will be a good litmus test for both these teams.
Mhm. Of course. Now we are starting slowly, meticulously going into the territory of we're starting to find out who's who. I always say the first 4 games of any true season is the real preseason. So the first 4 games of college football, line them up together. No win is the same and no loss is the same. Same thing with the NFL. For the longest with the Patriots, I always took that from them was the true preseason was the first 4 games. Like, and how many times did the Patriots go like 1-3 or 2-2?
Yep.
And then Brady's washed. And the next thing you know, they're in the Super Bowl. It's because once that 4th game was over with, they know, okay, got it. I know all the problems going forward. And I think we are going to be in that territory until conference play in college football.
Illinois has got a tough slate coming up. So you got
Mhm.
Duke this week. Then you take on Western Michigan, whatever. Then it's at Indiana, hosting
Mhm.
USC, at
Mhm.
Purdue, and then you take on Ohio State.
Yeah, it's
And then
not going to
not to
be
mention Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern.
It's not going to be an easy schedule for them. Like I said, it's a very good litmus test, but high praise to Duke for only being a 3-point underdog for a top 11 team in the country. Like that is a very good, which goes to show you that maybe this Duke team's a little bit underrated and not more so Illinois being, or they could just be properly rated and they're both like an 8-4 team.
That's probably closer to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Arizona State ranked 12th. They're traveling to Mississippi State. Arizona State is a 6.5 point favorite. How do you? Obviously, it was a fun but messy win
Mm-hmm.
against Northern Arizona. Um,
What I'm going to
how do
say
you think
about
they'll manage to tighten it up?
Mississippi State was the worst team in SEC last year. Um, the fact I don't think they improved that much either. I think Arizona State is being very disrespected right here. I think this is a 20-point, like they should be favored by 20 in this one. And I understand, like, well, Gerardo, you said last week it was an ugly win and it was sloppy. And I said, well, every year you're going to have an ugly game. You just got to hope you win those games so that way you move on and not have it. I don't think the way Arizona State looked defensively and their offensive line is indicative of what that team truly is. It's an immensely talented team. I mean, their wide receiver, you're a big fan of Tyson, is stupidly good. Their quarterback is a very much you would almost say a all-American to an elite level, college level quarterback. And their head coach, their coaching staff all retained. It's about just working the kinks, and their run game is tremendous. I'm a big fan of Arizona State's total
All
offense.
3 of them are just awesome.
Yes. So I think that is the most misleading line here. I think 6.5 is way too. This feels like there's a little bit of a SEC bias on this pick because I think Arizona State, one, I have them returning back as the Big 12 champion, and Mississippi State was the worst team in the SEC, and they did not get significantly better. They didn't. They are probably still the worst team in the SEC, and the fact that they're not even a touchdown favorite is rude. If I was a betting man, I would love that line because I do think Arizona State's probably going to beat them by 2 scores minimum.
Love to see it. I tend to agree. Um, we'll see how they handle the cowbells. You see, they were ringing them in practice this week.
A big whoop. I mean, you might as well put cows on that field for for Mississippi State. Like that, the team is not good. That is not the. And even when Mississippi State had good players like Dak Prescott there, when they had Simmons there, when they even had Like all those guys there, it's not like they were a relative. They were like a 7 to 8 win team. This team is not that good.
And then you have the Battle of Iowa. Number 16, Iowa State, is headed to Iowa in this rivalry matchup. I believe you could call it a rivalry.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge rivalry. This outside of, I think, the only other team Iowa hates more than Iowa State is Nebraska. I believe so.
Minnesota, they don't get along too
Mhm.
well with either.
But I'm gonna go with Iowa State on this one. They've been rolling good. They beat a very good Kansas State team to start the year off. They've been rolling really well. Three only a field goal game. I'm not too surprised about because the fact that it's a rivalry game. Those you legitimately, I always say don't ever touch rivalry games. On the craziest things you have ever seen in your life always happen on rivalry games. And I think it's the one that you should never touch. If you're a betting person out there, do not touch rivalry games. You never know what's going to happen. Iowa could come in and win by 21 points this game because it's because they're just like, I am not going to lose to the Cyclones.
And the Hawkeyes, I mean, God bless whoever watches this game. This is going to be.
And the Hawkeyes won. Kirk Ferentz, like he's still there. Their offense has always been ugly. Supposedly they have a quarterback this year, but
Mark Gronowski,
yeah, he did not look too good, but he also didn't look
44 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, that's an Iowa quarterback for you. That's definitely an Iowa quarterback.
Xavier Williams wasn't bad though. 11 carries, 122 yards in a score.
That's an Iowan offense. Like, what a shock. They're very good offensive line wise. They're very well coached. There's probably going to be an NFL prospect out of those guys.
Well, they played Albany. Don't give them too much credit.
I mean, listen, they produce great tight ends for the years, and they've always did great offensive lines. They're going to run the ball, and if you want to talk about game manager ass quarterbacks, that's all they recruit. That is literally all they recruit. They will literally not. There's no way that they will ever get a guy that's like anywhere close to half the talent of like Johnny Manziel. They're like, no, hand the ball off and do a 3 yard out. That's all I need you to do. But I got the Cyclones taking this one.
I tend to agree.
Just because they're just a better team and they have proven on paper. Like that first game against Kansas State was a very notable win. Kansas State's a very good, legitimately good team. Avery Johnson for them he was getting considerably good looks for All-American preseason All-Americans and stuff like that. And he was arguably one of the better quarterbacks within the Big 12 this year. And they had Kansas State beating Iowa State on week 0. And Iowa State proved to be the better team at that point. And I think that they keep rolling on with these victories, and I think they're going to take care of Iowa.
All right. Well, that was your featured matchups this week. Make sure you get on the action, except for the rivalry game. Stay away from that. Again, God bless whoever watches an Iowa football game.
Yes.
But yeah, that's your college football week 2 preview, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for watching our NFL show. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for liking, subscribing. If you're a college football guy more than you are an NFL guy, make sure you like and subscribe here. Make sure you comment. Make sure you follow our Facebook page. Extremely important. And we'll see you all next week when we recap everything that happened in week 2. So stay alert. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you're watching out for us.
And check out all of our other videos that we have covered. Like we have a video up that talks about if you're new to college football, what type of teams you should follow. And the science that I kind of broke down behind that, like for instance, why Caleb is kind of following Arizona State this year.
I was in last year. I'm in this year.
And I think it's a great team. I think everybody should always have a new team to follow each and every year, especially how big college football is. And I think Arizona State is just a wonderful team to follow this year.
All right. So make sure you go check out on all that. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for all for watching.
Adios.